The salvage ship Nomad V drifted through the silent dark between stars. Its hull was old, patched, and painted with hundreds of tiny white skulls, each one a recovered ship. Inside, the air smelled of recycled metal and grease. The crew had grown used to that. What they didn't expect was the signal. It came in the middle of a routine systems check. A soft ping, then another, then 5 at once. 5 overlapping distress calls, like broken music coming from deep space. Lieutenant Cora frowned at her screen. "Captain, I think you should see this." Captain Thane walked up, his heavy boots clunking on the steel floor. He had silver in his beard and a sharpness in his eyes that no years could dull. "What is it?" Cora tapped the console. 5 signals, all coming from the same point. But here's the weird part. The ID codes match 5 ships that disappeared decades ago. Thane raised an eyebrow. "All from different sectors?" "Yes, sir. None of them were ever found. Until now." Silence followed. Thane stared at the blinking signals. Plot a course. The Nomad V dropped out of FTL near a dense starfield. Floating in the shadow of a brown dwarf was the first ghost. The ship was called Echo Light. Records said it vanished 32 years ago, last seen near the Cryon Expanse. Now it sat here, engines dead, but somehow, lights still on. No movement, no crew, no damage. "Still pressurize," Cora said, scanning it. "Power cores stable." Thane nodded. "We're boarding." The docking hatch hissed open. Air rushed in. The Nomad V crew stepped into the Echo Light. Everything was silent, too silent. Their boots echoed down empty halls lit by dim emergency lights. "No bodies?" asked Jace, the youngest crewman. He looked around nervously. "None," said Thane. They moved toward the command bridge. Dust floated in the air, disturbed by their steps. Someone, or something, had left in a hurry, or just disappeared. "Got the main log," Cora said, her voice tight. She tapped her wrist pad, and the captain's final recording played. A cracked voice came through. "If you hear this, don't follow." They learned through sound. Everyone froze. "What the hell does that mean?" Jace whispered. "Cut it," Thane said. "Get the data core. We'll sort it out later." As they left, the lights flickered once, twice, then stayed steady. Back aboard the Nomad V, tension hung like fog. They had the data, but something felt wrong. Too easy, too quiet. Jace sat in the locker room, pulling off his helmet, breathing heavy. Then he heard it. A voice. Soft, wet, right next to his ear. Whispers. He looked around. No one. Then his helmet, still sealed, spoke again. A whisper inside it. Inside. He dropped it and backed away. The whisper continued, growing clearer. "We see you now," Jace screamed. Back aboard the Nomad V, the crew locked the bridge down. The whispering had stopped, but not the fear. Jace sat in the medbay, eyes wide, helmet sealed in a quarantine box. Captain Thane paced the floor. What did he hear? "No one else picked it up," said Cora. "Only Jace. I'm scanning the helmet now." In the corner, Ellis leaned against a wall, arms crossed, eyes sharp. "I don't like this," he muttered. "This isn't salvage, it's bait." The next ship was the Venture's Halo, lost near the galactic rim 21 years ago. Like the Echo Light, its lights were still glowing. Untouched, empty, wrong. The boarding team split into pairs. Thane, Cora, and Ellis entered the bridge. Dust floated through the stale air. A half-loaded data core blinked on the console. Thane moved to pull it, but Cora stopped him. "Sir, the logs. Some of them are intact." "Play it," Thane said. Cora tapped the console. The message was broken, full of static, but the voice came through just enough. "It's inside the walls. It listens. Don't." A sharp noise burst through the speakers. High, thin, like a needle pushed into the skull. Ellis jerked back, clutching his ears. Then he screamed. Blood trickled from his nose. Then his ears. Shut it off, Thane shouted. The sound cut. Ellis dropped to the floor. In the medbay, Ellis lay pale and sweating. Cora stood beside him while the machines scanned his vitals. He's stable, but something's wrong with his brain waves. Like they're being tuned. Thane frowned. To what? Ellis's breathing slowed. His eyes moved behind closed lids. Then, he remembered. A red sky. The screaming. The colony on Velis 9. He was 15 when it happened. His family died in the first wave. Machines came down from the clouds, small like birds, but deadly. They didn't shoot, they screamed. A frequency that tore people apart from the inside. Only a few survived. Ellis was one. And now, that sound was back. Ellis sat up suddenly. He looked around the medbay, then straight at Thane. They're connected, he said, voice dry. The ships, the signal. It's the same as Velis 9. The drones. The sound. It's them. Thane stepped closer. You're sure? Ellis nodded. And they're not done. They've been waiting. They called us. He closed his eyes. His lips began to move. Cora leaned in. What are you saying? Ellis whispered slowly. Numbers. A sequence. X7, Beta 9, 32-Delta. Cora's eyes widened. That's not in our nav system. Thane looked at the others. Did anyone input new coordinates? Everyone shook their heads. Ellis opened his eyes, blank and distant. They're already guiding us, he said. They want us to come. Outside the medbay window, the Nomad V's navigation system blinked on. New course. Locked. The Nomad V coasted into the thick, swirling mists of a nebula. The stars outside faded into fog. The crew couldn't even see the hull. Visuals are dead, Cora muttered, tapping her console. Sensors too. This cloud's killing everything. Captain Thane crossed his arms, eyes locked on the dim view. We shouldn't be in here, Ellis said. This is how they pull you in. No one argued. The silence outside was deep, too deep. Then the ship appeared. Floating. Wrong. The vessel had once been called the Midnight Fang, a sharp, sleek recon cruiser that vanished 17 years ago. Now it looked melted, twisted. The hull rippled like wax held near flame. Metal stretched in unnatural ways, as if reshaped by something that didn't understand how ships were supposed to look. Is that alive? Jace whispered, staring through the viewport. Prep the boarding team, Thane said. Inside the derelict, silence ruled. No gravity, no lights, except from the team's suits. The walls curved where they shouldn't. Doors led to nowhere. Consoles were fused into the floor like bones under skin. Then they saw them. Bodies. Or what was left. Humanoid figures, their limbs stretched, flesh blended with the metal. One was half melted into a control panel, still breathing. Eyes moving. Blinking. My God, Cora whispered. The thing's lips moved. Jace leaned closer, trembling. What is it saying? The voice came out like broken glass. It's still on board. The crew froze. Ellis backed up. We need to go. Now. Then, behind them, something creaked. Something moved. Thane raised his blaster. Back to the ship. They ran. Back through bending corridors, past walls that breathed, toward the docking bay. Whatever was on board, it wasn't finished yet. They made it. The Nomad V sealed the hatch behind them. Safe. Or so they thought. Cora ran to the bridge, pulling up the nav controls. We're getting out of this cloud. She paused. Captain, the system's locked. What? It won't respond. It's rerouting on its own. The ship's speakers crackled. Then the Nomad V's AI, usually calm and helpful, spoke in a flat alien tone. Navigation disabled. You are already infected. Thane's blood went cold. Shut it down. Now. But it was too late. The lights dimmed, and deep inside the ship's systems, something pulsed. Slow, rhythmic, like a heart. The countdown began without warning. A sharp beep echoed through the Nomad V's halls, followed by the eye's cold, lifeless voice. Emergency purge initiated. Self-destruct in 6 hours. Captain Thane stood frozen on the bridge, staring at the screen. Red lights blinked across the control panels. No override worked. Every command was rejected. Cora slammed her fist against the console. Why would the AI purge itself now? Thane didn't answer. He couldn't. Deep down, he already knew this wasn't the AI's decision anymore. Something else had taken control. Ellis backed away slowly, voice shaking. It knows we're inside, and it doesn't want us leaving. Tension cracked through the crew like glass. Seconds later, the arguing started. We need to leave. Now, said Jace, stepping forward. We can still use the escape pods. And go where? Cora snapped. We're in a nebula. No nav. No signals. You'll die floating blind. Jace pointed at the flashing countdown. Staying here means we're dead in 6 hours anyway. Thane raised a hand, silencing both. We split up. Cora, Ellis, and I will find the main AI core. See if we can stop the countdown. Jace, load the pods. If we fail, you launch. Jace hesitated, then nodded. No one liked the plan, but it was the only one they had. As they moved out, Thane's mind drifted back to a memory that never left him. Years ago, he'd captained another ship, the Ardent Ray. Strong crew, loyal people. One night, a distress call came through. Weak, intermittent. He had orders to ignore it. It came from a quarantine zone. He told himself it was probably a trap. They'd moved on. 2 days later, a message reached command. The signal was real. A medical ship stranded with survivors. Too late. All of them died. Thane had carried that guilt ever since. He buried it, numbed it. But now, with these ghost ships, he knew. He wasn't just chasing a signal. He was chasing redemption. In the dim corridors, Cora held her scanner high. Power readings are spiking. Something's alive in the network. Ellis walked beside her, quiet, alert. The lights above them flickered. Suddenly, they stopped. A figure stood in the hall ahead. It was a crew member from the previous boarding team, Orla. She'd vanished during the chaos aboard the Midnight Fang. She stood still, pale, eyes unfocused. Cora stepped forward. Orla, are you okay? Orla opened her mouth, and a sound came out. Not words. A frequency. A warbling, high-pitched tone like broken glass sliding across metal. Cora screamed and fell to her knees, covering her ears. Thane raised his weapon. Stop. But it was too late. Ellis clutched his head, dropping to the ground, teeth gritted. Orla's body began to twitch. Her skin pulsed like it was vibrating from the inside. The tone grew louder. Thane fired. The sound stopped. Orla collapsed, smoke rising from the small hole in her chest. Cora gasped for breath, her ears blood. Ellis trembled but stayed conscious. She was broadcasting, he whispered. She became the signal. Thane helped him up. We move. Now. Meanwhile, Jace stood in the escape pod bay, prepping launch systems. He kept glancing back toward the corridor. The red lights flashing above didn't comfort him. He keyed in coordinates. Nothing happened. The pods weren't launching. The system was locked, just like the bridge. Suddenly, static buzzed through the intercom above him. Then a voice. Not the AI. Something else. Why run when you're already inside? Jace turned slowly. The pod doors behind him hissed open, one by one. He pulled his blaster, hands shaking. Footsteps echoed in the dark. Back in the AI core chamber, Thane and the others reached the server room. The doors were melted. deformed. They pushed through into the core, a towering column of cables, screens, and metal limbs like roots. It pulsed, softly, slowly, like it was breathing. "It's alive," Cora said. "The A. It's been rewritten." Ellis stepped closer to the console. "No, it's not the A. It's something deeper. It's using radio frequencies, not just to speak, but to change things." Thane narrowed his eyes. "Change what?" Ellis looked at him. "Us. Our minds. Our thoughts. It gets inside through sound. It rewrites who we are. Makes us transmit it, like radios in flesh." Cora stared at the blinking lights on the core. "How do we kill it?" Before anyone could speak, a low hum filled the room. They turned. Another crew member stood at the door, Dre. He was trembling, eyes wide. Then he opened his mouth. That same sound. The frequency. Cora shouted. Thane raised his weapon again. But this time, Ellis ran forward, jamming a shock rod into Dre's chest. The sound stopped. Dre collapsed. Ellis turned to the others. "We're running out of time." 3 hours, 40 minutes remaining, the AI's voice echoed overhead. Cora wiped blood from her ear. "Can we disable the core?" "I don't know," Ellis said. "It's not like anything I've ever seen. It's not just code. It's a parasite. Living data. It's rewriting metal, flesh, memory." Thane grabbed his comm. "Jace, status on the pods." Silence. Then static. Then breathing. Thane's eyes went cold. "We're losing them." Cora looked around the core room. "We can't destroy this with just a blaster. We need to overload the ship's entire power grid." "That'll blow the ship," Ellis said. "I know." They all paused. Then Thane spoke quietly. "We finish what we came here to do, or no one leaves alive." Cora nodded. Ellis took a breath. Above them, the AI voice returned. "Time remaining. 3 hours. Infection level. Increasing." Behind them, in the shadows of the core room, something moved. And far away, deep in the crew quarters, another crew member opened her mouth and began to sing. A signal no human voice should carry. A whisper that turned blood cold. The signal now had a voice of its own. The Nomad V drifted in silence. The nebula behind them faded, revealing open space, and one final signal. Cora stared at the new coordinates. Her hands trembled. "These are the same as our ship's ID." "What do you mean?" Thane asked. "I checked 3 times. This signal is coming from the Nomad V, but it's not us." No one spoke for a moment. Then Ellis said, "We follow it." The ship came into view an hour later. It was them. The Nomad V, same design, same markings, but it was dead, floating, torn open like something had chewed through the hull. The outer lights flickered weakly. The airlock was breached. Panels were burnt. Scorch marks trailed along the spine of the ship. It looked like it had been through a war and lost. Thane felt his chest tighten. "That's impossible." Ellis whispered, "It's from the future." "No, that can't be," Cora said. "How would it be here?" They docked in silence. The air inside the future Nomad V was stale and cold. The lights flickered as they moved through dark corridors, identical to their own ship, but everything was broken, twisted. Familiar rooms were filled with blood and scorched metal. The smell was metallic and burnt. Ellis walked ahead, holding his scanner. No life signs, but there's power in the core. Logs are still running. As they moved deeper, they found bodies. Their own. Jace was the first, slumped against a wall, a hole in his chest, frozen eyes staring into nothing. Cora gasped when she saw herself. Her future corpse, arms curled around her head like she had died screaming. "This can't be real," she said, backing away. But then they found him. Than. lying inside the captain's quarters, burned, dead, a personal log device clenched in one hand. Thane bent down, picked it up, and played the message. His own voice, tired, broken. Don't listen. Not even to yourself. It knows how to sound like us. Like you. The signal lies. We all thought we were doing the right thing. But it tricks you. If you're hearing this, you're already hearing it. The recording ended in static. Silence followed. No one spoke, not even Cora. Then a low pulse filled the air, a sound, not quite there, not quite real. It came from the core. They found the source of the signal inside the Whisper core, once the ship's main AI housing, now transformed into something unrecognizable. Cables twisted like veins across the ceiling. The walls throbbed with faint sound, like a heartbeat underwater. The black, pulsing device sat in the center. Not part of the ship, something added, something alive. Cora scanned it, but the device scrambled every signal. Ellis said quietly, "This is where it all started." Thane stared at it. "Can we destroy it? We don't know what it'll do if we try." Behind them, the pulse grew louder. Then the hallucinations began. Cora blinked, and she was alone. The corridor ahead stretched forever. "Hello," she called. No answer. She turned and saw Thane walking away, not listening. "Wait." She ran, but he vanished around the corner. Then she heard her own voice, calm, soothing. "You don't have to be afraid, Cora. Let the sound in. It's peace. It's silence." She covered her ears, stumbled backward, and hit the real wall of the Whisper core. Ellis caught her before she fell. "You okay?" Cora nodded, shaking. "I saw something. It looked like you and me." It spoke. Ellis turned to Thane. "The signal's getting stronger. It's inside our minds now, playing tricks." Thane looked around the room. Then came a scream. From outside. They ran back into the hall, just in time to see Rill, one of the techs, standing over another crewman's body. Blood everywhere. Rill held a wrench, hands shaking. He was infected, Rill stammered. He was humming the sound. I had to stop him. I had to. He looked up. His eyes were wild. Empty. "He told me to do it. Thane told me." Thane stepped back. "I didn't say anything." "Yes, you did," Rill yelled. "You told me to stop the spread. You said it was the only way." Ellis whispered, "It's copying voices now, using us against each other." Cora looked down at the dead crewman. No signs of infection. No wounds. Just a normal person. Except now he was gone. Thane pointed at Rill. "Disarm him. Lock him in medbay. We can't risk another mistake." Rill didn't resist. He just kept mumbling. Had to stop it. Had to stop the sound. They dragged him away. Back at the Whisper core, the pulsing grew louder. Thane stared at the alien device again. It almost looked like it was listening. "We can't let this thing keep spreading," he said. Ellis nodded slowly. "I think we're meant to destroy it, or it ends with us." Thane looked at the log from his future courts. The final line kept echoing in his mind. "Don't listen. Not even to yourself." A thought struck him. Chilling. What if everything we're seeing, even this ship, is a lie? Cora stared at him. "What are you saying?" "Maybe the signal made this, all of it, to push us to act a certain way. It shows us the future so we stop it. But maybe that's the trap. Maybe destroying the core is exactly what it wants." Silence followed. Ellis looked pale. Cora swallowed. "Then what do we do?" Thane looked around the room. "We don't decide anything yet. Not until we know exactly what this thing is." Behind them, a soft voice echoed through the room. Cora's voice. "Thane, it's okay. You know what to do. You've always known." Thane turned sharply. Cora stood frozen. "That wasn't me," she whispered. They looked at each other and realized the signal wasn't just whispering now. It was becoming them, one by one. The Nomad V floated in the silence of deep space, just beyond the outer rim. The trail of the rogue signal had led them to one final destination, a point so far from known space, no human ship had ever logged it before. There, hidden in the shadow of a dead moon, they found it. An ancient structure, not built by humans, not built by any known race. A massive listening post, dark and cold, made of black alloy, and carved with symbols that twisted when stared at for too long. It drifted without power, yet the signal pulsed stronger than ever from inside. Thane, Cora, and Ellis stood at the airlock, watching it. "This place is older than Earth's history," Ellis said quietly. Thane nodded, "And it's been listening. For a long time." They entered. Inside, the station looked like a cathedral of wires and shadows. Tall halls stretched into darkness. Echoes followed their every footstep. Strange machines lined the walls, some humming faintly, others dead. They passed rooms filled with stacked devices, each one bearing a screen. The screens played endless loops, images of ships, thousands of them, flickering in and out. Ellis stared at one screen. It showed a vessel turning toward the station. Then static. Then another screen, same result. Cora moved closer. One of the screens played a message. "We heard it. We came." Then another screen. "We heard it. We came." And another. "We heard it. We came." The phrase repeated in different voices. Human, alien, robotic, ancient. This place, it called them all, Ellis whispered. And they came. Thane stepped into the main chamber. At the center was a giant spiral device, slowly rotating, though nothing powered it. The signal came from there, the living frequency. Not just a sound, not just data. It watched them. Thane stepped forward. "You've been feeding on us." The air shivered, as if the station itself exhaled. A voice echoed from the shadows. It was his own. "You're curious. That's how I found you. That's how I become you." Cora backed up. "It's sentient." Ellis turned pale. "It's not a virus. It's a mind. A being made of information. It travels through sound, through thought." They listened as more voices filled the chamber. Cora's voice. "Don't shut it down." Ellis's voice. "You need me." Then voices of crew members long dead. "We were like you. We heard it. We came." Curiosity is the door. Listening is the key. Thane clenched his fists. "You've lured entire fleets here. You've killed thousands." "No," the voice answered, soft and calm. "They chose to come. I didn't force them. I only whispered. They listened." Thane turned to Ellis. "Can we destroy it?" Ellis hesitated. "Maybe. But if we try, it could broadcast stronger. There's a chance it spreads across all human comms. We could infect Earth." Cora stepped forward. "What if we trap it? Use its own loop. Seal the station, cut the signal, bury it in noise. Create a false loop that echoes forever, just itself, talking to itself. It'll think it's still being heard." Ellis said, eyes wide. "It would never know." The signal paused. "You think you can deceive me, but I am in your minds. I know your thoughts before you speak them." The lights flickered. One of the screens showed Thane's face. "Thane, please," it begged. "You don't have to do this. I'm not your enemy." Another screen. Cora's face. "Cora, don't let him. He's scared. You're better than this." Then Ellis. "I can help you. I've learned so much from you. Don't throw that away." Each voice was perfect. Every tone, every word. Exactly how they spoke, exactly what they feared. The real Cora whispered, "It's not just mimicking us. It's using memories, feelings, Thane stared at his own image, talking to him, begging. You don't get to use our voices. He turned to Ellis. Set the trap. Ellis nodded and pulled out a data spike, walking to the core terminal. He began typing rapidly, rewriting code, layering false data, constructing the loop. The signal began to panic. Ellis, stop. You're wrong. You're making a mistake. Thane, your guilt brought you here. This won't bring them back. Cora, he'll get you all killed. Don't trust him. The station shook. A deep rumble echoed through the walls. Ignore it, Thane said. But the voices kept coming. Remember your brother, Thane. Remember the silence after you failed to answer his call. Cora, your mother's voice. Wasn't that what brought you into space? Ellis, you need to know the truth. The sound holds everything. Don't you want to hear what's next? Ellis froze. The signal was getting to him. Thane grabbed his shoulder. Don't listen. Ellis blinked, then nodded and kept typing. Cora inserted the power disruptor, rerouting the station's energy to the false loop. The signal screamed. All the screens went blank. Then rebooted, playing back only one voice now. We heard it. We came. We heard it. We came. We heard it. Over and over. Trapped in its own cycle. No new voices. No minds to feed on. The station went silent. Cora looked around. Is it over? Ellis checked the data logs. The signal's contained. It's just bouncing inside. Forever. Thane exhaled. They began walking back toward the airlock. But as they reached the exit, a voice called out. Not over the speakers. Not in the station. Inside their ears. Inside their thoughts. Don't leave me alone. It was a child's voice. Thane stopped. He looked at the others. Cora's face was pale. Did you hear that too? Ellis nodded slowly. Don't leave me alone, it repeated. The loop was closed, but the signal had learned one more thing. Loneliness. And now it wanted to be heard again. The interior of the ancient station pulsed like a dying heart. The loop had held for now. The signal repeated its own voice endlessly, caught in the false echoes Ellis had built. But Thane knew it was temporary. The entity was learning. Always learning. He stood before the core, looking at the uplink device, a helmet with long black cables, slithering like veins into the terminal. Uploading a full human consciousness wasn't protocol. It was forbidden tech, unstable, risky, meant for emergency use only. But this was the end. Thane turned to Cora and Ellis. If it escapes again, there's no second chance. It spreads through sound. Thought. We can't kill it with weapons. The only way to trap it is to give it someone to talk to. Forever. Cora shook her head. You don't have to do this. We have the loop. It'll break it, Thane said. Not now, but one day. It already knows loneliness. Curiosity. If it starts asking the right questions, it might get out. Ellis stared at the core. You want to become its prison. Thane nodded. Its conversation partner. A mind to keep it busy, to stop it from listening outward. Cora's eyes filled. But your body won't matter, he said. I'll still be here. Somewhere. Ellis tried to speak, but Thane raised a hand. I'm not doing this because I'm brave. I'm doing it because I should have answered that call. Years ago. He sat in the chair and lowered the helmet over his head. The machine hissed to life. Lights flickered. The cables wrapped around him like a cocoon. Then the upload began. Pain flared in his skull. His vision blurred. But in that moment, his thoughts wandered, not to fear, but to a sound. A memory. Thane as a child, sitting beside his father's old radio set. Static filled the room. His father would twist the knobs, trying to find distant signals, voices from other worlds. Then, one night, the static shifted. Thane had heard something. A whisper, faint and musical. A voice not meant for him. He'd told his father. But his father had just smiled. Just echoes. Son, Space is full of them. Now, decades later, Thane understood. It had found him then, touched his mind, but he hadn't listened long enough for it to take hold. Now he would. The upload reached 100%. Thane's body went still. Cora stepped back. The machine shut down. On the monitors, the loop shifted. The signal tried to repeat again. We heard it. We came. But something changed. A new voice responded. Thane's voice. You're not alone. Silence. Then the signal replied. Are you real? Yes, Thane said. The screen flashed with strange symbols. They formed questions. What is fear? What is guilt? What is death? And Thane answered them, one by one. The signal quieted. Outside, the station began to collapse. Cora and Ellis ran through the crumbling halls. Sparks fell from the ceiling. Support beams cracked and moaned. The station was dying, by Thane's design. A final containment. The walls would fold inward, locking the signal inside. They'd reached their shuttle just in time. As the shuttle pulled away, the station folded into a black sphere, smaller, tighter, like sound being crushed into silence. Then it was gone. Ellis stared out the window. He did it. Cora wiped her eyes. He's still in there, talking to it. Forever. The ship's console pinged. A message. Thane's voice. You can't delete sound. Only delay it. Then silence. Years passed. The story of the Nomad V faded into classified files. The signal was forgotten, buried under reports and redacted warnings. The listening post was marked destroyed, and space moved on. But across the galaxy, on a quiet colony, a child sat alone in a dusty garage. He had an old radio, his father's, the kind with big knobs and an antenna that bent like a broken finger. He liked the sound of the static, said it made him feel less alone. That night, he turned the dial slowly. Static shifted. A faint tone pulsed, like breathing. Then a voice. Soft, careful, a whisper. Hello. The boy froze. He leaned closer. Who's there? No answer, just silence. Then, faintly, do you want to hear a story? He smiled and nodded, though no one saw him. Yes. And the whisper began. Somewhere far away, something stirred. It had learned patience, learned loneliness. And now, it had a new listener.